As a famous fictional New York writer once said, your 20s are to have fun, your 30s are to learn lessons, and your 40s are to pay for the drinks. And as I turned 38 this year, I thought it was time to take stock of some of my lessons. For anyone who's found themselves caught between worlds, jobs, or life chapters, these might resonate. They're the field notes from a wandering 30-something trying to make sense of it all. I'm German-born, but Australia is now my home base after years of living out of suitcases across different continents. Like many in our generation, I've never felt tied to just one place. And those I have been lucky to call home have become chapters in my story rather than stamps in my passport. Each one teaching me something I couldn't have learned any other way. They've opened my eyes to how differently people can approach the same human experiences. And there's no going back to seeing through just one lens. And without further ado, here are the lessons I've gathered along the way. 1. If it won't open, it's not your door. My inbox is full of rejection emails from publishers, literary agents, magazines, and potential business partners. Early on, each one felt so personal, like they were rejecting me, not just my work. But rejection shows up everywhere. Relationships that fizzle out, job applications that go nowhere, visas denied. Eventually I realized these closed doors weren't failures, they were redirections. When something requires excessive force or manipulation to work, it's probably not meant for you. The right doors open with reasonable effort. Rejection is usually just protection from things that would have drained your energy. 2. Mother Nature will always soothe your furrowed brow. There's something remarkably healing about simply being outside. When thoughts are spiraling, when decisions feel impossible, when doubt hits or anxiety tightens, the natural world offers a reset button like nothing else. It's the small moments of connection that put everything into perspective. I've learned that stepping outside is essential maintenance for my mental health. When we reconnect with Earth, we remember our place in something much larger than our temporary problems. Your worries don't disappear, but they often shrink to a more manageable size. I'm just out here exercising and it's like a zoo out here. Look at that. There's the birds. There's a kangaroo. Hello. Pretty wild out here. 3. Purpose is overrated. So I spent years obsessed with finding my purpose. During my 20s and well into my 30s, this question of what should I do with my life nagged at me constantly. I took longer trying to figure this out than anyone I know. And now I'm starting to believe that maybe I was never meant to. I watched a talk by Elizabeth Gilbert where she explored what she calls purpose anxiety. Walking down the street, she saw a man on a wobbly ladder. Without hesitation, she stopped to hold it steady. Standing there, she had a revelation. What if this is my purpose? What if my entire life's purpose was simply to be here at this moment to hold this ladder for this stranger? The truth is, most of us aren't like Jane Goodall, for example, who knew from childhood after reading Tarzan that she wanted to work with animals in Africa. We don't all have that one clear calling. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It matters what you do for a life. It matters how you approach each day, who and what you care about, and that you move through the world with kindness. As Elizabeth Gilbert said, if there's something specific the universe needs you to do, you will be notified. Until then, just hold the ladder. 4. Flossing. Seriously, floss your teeth, but also maintain everything else. By our 30s, we need to shift from treating our bodies like rental cars to treating them like vehicles we plan to drive for another 50 plus years. Your body keeps the score. And the maintenance you do or don't do now determines if you'll be the 80-year-old still hiking or the one who can barely climb stairs. 5. it is never too late to start over. I've restarted my life so many times I've lost count. New countries, new careers, new homes. Each time I've thought, is it too late? Am I behind? But behind according to what? As Joan Didion said, I've already lost touch with a few people I used to be. That's not failure, it's growth. Unlike our parents' generation, we won't work at one company for 40 years. The ability to reinvent yourself isn't flakiness, it's becoming the most essential skill of our time. 6. The timeline in your head is just fiction. I'm 38 and I'm still renting. According to the life schedule I was handed, I should own a house by now, be settled in a forever career, maybe have kids. Society has these neat little boxes we're supposed to check off by certain ages. I had learned to internalize these expectations, constantly pushing for the next achievement, the next level, never feeling like I've done enough. We've made our jobs our entire identity. So what do you do for a living is literally the first thing we ask when meeting someone new, as if your paid work defines your worth as a human. I am done with the hustle culture, the constant race towards some imaginary finish line that keeps moving further and further away. When you cultivate the right environment around you, the right opportunities, people and possibilities are naturally drawn in. I really believe that. Like a garden where you focus on creating rich soil instead of yanking on plants to make them grow faster. And finally, the 7th lesson came to me only last week, and I managed to record it on my morning walk. I'm just sitting here with the crows. They're up high up in the trees. I'm out on my morning walk, and it's an absolute stunner of a morning. It rained a lot last night, so this morning the air is really clear and all the birds are out. No wind at all now. And I'm feeling a bit dusty this morning. It was date night last night, so Frank and I went out to a pub. He was driving, but I had a couple of drinks, and it didn't feel good. Didn't feel good at all. A couple of months back, Frank and I decided that we were basically not going to buy alcohol anymore for the house, because we were both kind of over it and thought we didn't need it and might as well save the money. And so what that means is that we basically stopped drinking altogether, because we live remotely, so we don't get out much, and so anything we don't bring back to the cabin doesn't get to the cabin. And so it felt really good, and we both noticed that we were sleeping better, and overall it was just really easy, and we thought, yeah, don't miss it at all, basically. And so last night was like the first night where I had a couple of drinks. I had like 3 drinks. And today I'm hungover, didn't sleep well, didn't feel great. And I remember standing in front of the bar last night at the pub, and there were so many liquor bottles lined up, all these beautiful bottles, and it looked very pretty. And it's meant to look pretty, I guess. And I just thought it's so crazy how we have built our whole culture around this drug. When you celebrate, you have champagne, and you go celebrate the weekend with alcohol. And I also remember as a teenager how that seemed like such a goal. You're one of the grown-ups when you get to drink alcohol for the first time. And I'm kind of glad for how I feel this morning. It was only 3 drinks, but I just really don't think it's worth it anymore. And as I'm walking here this morning, out in nature, I just really feel like this is what it's all about. This is the drug. This is what actually feels good. This is what's healing. This is the real deal. Anything else is just a substitute for this. And so I think I'm done. I think I'm actually done. I don't know, I might, if I'm in Scotland or whatever, I might have a scotch just because I like the taste, but I don't think I'll be drinking anymore. It's just not worth it. And so I was wondering how you felt about that. Maybe you'd like to leave me a comment. Let me know how you also feel as a generation. if we're maybe changing away from alcohol, that we are just finding actual ways to heal. So that's what's on my mind this morning. I feel really good now. I feel really good, actually. I feel really calm. I'm glad this happened, and I'm so grateful for nature, for this life, to be here, having a bit of a moment.